Hello everyone, I'm Penny Shults, host of Oakland Leadership. Our guests today are Karen Sweetlick and Mike Evola. We have the honor of learning about Homes for Autism from two people who have experienced firsthand the tremendous blessing this agency has on the lives of residents with special needs. Karen worked for nursing care facilities and with adult foster care programs, coming to work for Christ the Redeemer in 1997, which was a natural transition for her. Karen enjoys planning outreach programs, including working with Habitat for Humanity. She excels at connecting people and resources to improve the quality of life for those around her. Mike Evola is a retired business owner and an employee of Evola Music Company. Mike is a member of Christ the Redeemer Catholic Church and has served as a volunteer for Habitat for the last 9 years. Mike is a longtime resident in our community and understands the importance of being part of a loving home and community. Welcome. It's so good to have both of you here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I am amazed how we were able to connect two wonderful people in this community at the same table at the same time. So Mike, you are one of our election inspectors. That's where you and I first met.
Yes.
And you're also involved with Christ the Redeemer Catholic Church.
For 20-some years, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then Karen, you work for Christ the Redeemer Catholic Church.
Yes.
How long have you been there?
Been there 19 years.
Wonderful. Well, we're glad that we've got some historical perspective here at the table today. We want to learn about what Christ the Redeemer is doing in the community and surrounding communities for Homes for Autism and also Habitat for Humanity. Can you tell us a little bit about some of that activities that are going on around that?
So we've actually, Christ the Redeemer's been involved with Habitat for 21 years now. And we will be working on our 19th home, the Homes for Autism in Auburn Hills, and we're excited about that. And it started because we decided we needed to build a new church. We were outgrowing our old space on Baldwin Road, and so we decided to build a home for the needy before we built our home. So that's how we began our contact with Habitat for Humanity, and we've continued it ever since.
That's beautiful. I didn't know that piece of history. I'm glad that we know that now, and our viewers know that as well. So Mike, what's your involvement with Habitat for Humanity?
Well, I'm just a liaison between the church and Habitat for Humanity, and I'm an active volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. I help bring other people from our church community to the table to volunteer for Habitat for Humanity.
How can people get involved with Habitat?
Well, it's pretty easy, actually. Habitat has a website. They have right on their website says volunteer, and you can click there and sign up. They have houses usually going, 3 or 4 houses usually almost all the time, and you can choose between the houses that you'd like to work at. And greatly, the last couple of years, we've been working right here in Orion Township, and we've just got a tremendously nice house that we've been working on Baldwin, off of Baldwin Road by Orion Keg. And it's going to a very, very needy lady, Missy Francis, and it's just a beautiful house. It's really been a great job to work on, and we started right from scratch, 2-story house. This is a very energy efficient house, and it's going to be, it's involved a lot of people from the community.
So people who don't know construction can get involved with Habitat?
That is one of the nice things about it. They have all the tools. They have a foreman on hand that's very knowledgeable, and gives his job is to teach you things that you don't know and you'd like to learn.
Oh, I like that.
And that was how I got started. Actually, I always wanted to work with wood and stuff like that, but I never had the experience to do that. And I've learned quite a bit different traits that way. Yeah. What
a blessing to be able to bring someone to their home for the first time and present them with the keys.
Yeah, it is, and it's not a gift to them. It's a hand up. They actually are going to buy the house,
yes.
And they actually put in quite a bit of sweat equity to get the house, and it's so it is a nice opportunity.
That's beautiful. So tell me about the partnership with Homes for Autism that you know is taking place with Habitat.
So this will be the second home that Christ the Redeemer is helping Homes for Autism with Habitat building this year. And we have a committee member, Bill Schramm, who is the president of Homes for Autism, and he had he's on our committee of planning for our fundraiser, which we've been doing for many years, and he suggested, would we be interested in helping support a Homes for Autism? And, then spoke with Habitat, and that's kind of how it all began.
I'm very excited about that partnership, and Bill will be joining us here in the studio shortly. So Christ the Redeemer, the residents in the community, and partnership with Habitat, you're forming a coalition basically, and you're all working together to put people in a home. What are some of the experiences that you've had recently with that partnership, or maybe the most recent house that someone was able to help purchase or live in?
I was going to say, no, that we've done, this is our third one we're doing in Orion Township, and I think that's the most exciting part, is it's right here where we live. And I think just to hear the stories of the homeowners, the first two we did were for single moms, and just how they really wanted to get to a better place and have a home for their children. And that's just exciting to see their, you know, when you hand them the keys, the excitement on their face, and just to know that they, you know, they can do this, and they're able to support this home and pay for this home and have a nice home for their children.
And so is there encouragement after they are in the home from the church? Do they reach out to them and see how things are going? And
no, but there is a yearly Christmas party for homeowners that got homes from Habitat for Humanity. And there's connections with the homeowners that we've supported in Orion Township. Two ladies that are very, very nice ladies, and I have kept in contact with them. I have really they've gone up at the ladder in their jobs, and they are, it's worked out perfect for them. They're both people that would never have gotten a house on their own per se at that time, and they had kids that were at school ages that needed a table to do homework, and a room to go to that's their own room, and a backyard to play with and play in. And these kids have made better people out of themselves.
That's so good, because sometimes we're stuck and we need someone to help point the way and help us to be encouraged so that we can make different choices.
Yeah.
I love when you said about a backyard to play in. We take that for granted.
Exactly. That's there's a lot of things that go into making a good, successful family, and I think having a home is one of those things that they can take ownership with and take pride in, and feel comfortable, and they have a place to celebrate holidays and make memories, and it's all important.
And I'm glad it's right here in Orion Township as well.
Yeah.
You partner with other agencies too. The Lions Club is a recent partnership. Can we talk about that a little bit?
No, they haven't. They've helped, but we haven't got to the table with them yet.
Okay.
But this is something that I personally would like to see happen, and it's happening in other communities. And I think Orion Township, as good as it is, should be as a township getting behind Habitat for Humanity, because in helping out with these builds here in the Orion Township.
This is a great first start then.
Yes, yeah,
to raise awareness.
Yes, it is.
To ask people to come alongside Habitat and partner.
Yeah.
Do local businesses, how do you get the supplies and the equipment that you need?
Well, there's many local suppliers. Orion Home Depot has been a very big supporter of Habitat. There are many of the restaurants in our area. When we do a fundraiser on May 6th, it's all area restaurants that have come to the table and are supplying the food for this fundraiser. Area businesses have been putting forth gift certificates and gifts and prize for a live auction. And they've been helping us for years, and it's really very generous of them to do what they do.
We have a big caring heart in this community.
Yeah.
And collectively, it's amazing what we accomplish. Karen, can you tell us about the event that's coming up in May?
Yes, so the event is Saturday, May the 6th. It'll be at Christ the Redeemer, which is on Walden Road, 2700 Walden Road. It's across from the middle school, and it will begin at 7 o'clock. Tickets are $40 each, and that includes a strolling dinner as well as beer, wine, pop. We will also have dessert, and we'll have a live and silent auction. So it's going to be a great night. We usually have about 100 auction items, and once again, we hope to raise a lot of money, and it's usually a great event.
And I can tell you're seasoned in this because you covered all the bases. And that's important.
Yes, this is our 10th annual actually Raise a Glass to Raise a Roof fundraiser for Habitat. And yes, so I'm kind of been doing this for a while, and but it is a great event. It's a fun night.
And the nice thing about it is that really almost all the money, probably 97% of the money, is going right directly to Habitat. And it's so there's not much overhead to this fundraiser, and it's a very, very fun night for everybody.
Habitat is a respected agency because they know there's results. They see the people in their home and they see where their dollars are being spent. And we'll put the website up so people can find out more about that actual agency.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch a little bit on what that agency stands for in other areas?
Well, I mean, they have it's a national organization, and then they have local chapters. And we're part of the Oakland County chapter, and there's a Macomb County chapter, and all the different counties have chapters. But they help out with individual houses. They help out on national disaster relief things. I was down to New Orleans 4 times for Katrina at that time, and they built many, many houses in rebuilding that city there. And they're very conscious. Energy-wise, to help the families that buy these houses, that these families go into houses that are not going to be an overhead to them, but they're going to be very, very efficiently run, and there are new appliances that put in them, and it's a very, very, very good organization.
Something we see that happens in a community or a neighborhood, once somebody starts building, it seems that other people want to improve their property. Do you see that effect?
That's exactly right. That's very, very true. It's happening, and it's happening now in Detroit. You know, and that's one of the greatest things I think is you not only help a community, you help a whole district, and the schools become better. Hopefully, as time goes along, and it all works out.
And I do know that that is happening with the current house that we're building. That the neighbors have come, and we're so excited that there is a home being built in that, you know, it was a vacant lot, and they're hoping it's going to help the neighborhood, and that's
like
exciting.
And something about new lumber just inspires people. Or hearing hammers, or
Hitting
they
a hammer,
know they
hitting
can
a
do it
nail
too.
with a hammer, huh?
Yeah.
That's very much.
We have nails looking for hammers. We all want to do something to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I wanted to get involved, and would I give you a call, Karen, or who would I sign up with?
Yes, you could give me a call at Chrysler Redeemer. Our phone number is 248-391-1621, and I'm extension 17. And we are very involved in the community, as well as through Habitat. We are involved with Love in the Name of Christ, and we are one of the churches that host community meals in Oxford twice a month.
Yes.
And so we also have done many other outreach projects. We actually have 2 outreach projects now that are major outreach projects. One is called our St. Nicholas Project, that is the first Saturday of December, and this will be our 5th year this coming year. And last year we had 1,500 volunteer hours spent on that day, had about 500 volunteers from church, and we went to over 30 sites and agencies, and we're planning to actually do an urban garden day this summer on August 19th, and we're going to go to different gardens in Detroit and around the area and help with those gardens.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Did you know Love Inc. has a garden that someone bestowed on them?
Yes, and actually we will be helping out at that garden in August.
That all goes to a good cause.
Yes.
You have a big heart. I love that you know where some of these agencies are serving. Can kids get involved?
Yes, we welcome families, and I think that's kind of the one thing about these projects, which is great. You can have any child, you know, any size age child, and we kind of, in the one in December, we place them where it's age appropriate. But the gardening, everybody can pick weeds, whether you're 2 or you're 20. So.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That is so good to hear. So what were some of your first responsibilities that you had, Mike, with Habitat? Where did they put you first?
Well, you know, I think Habitat and God must have been watching after me, because there was two things that I wanted to do in learning. I wanted to learn how to use a air hammer, and I wanted to learn how to use a chop saw. And my first 2 days, that I volunteered, this guy walked up to me and said, "Will you do the chop saw today?"
Ambitious.
And I said, I've never used a chop saw. I don't know anything I don't know how to do, but I would like to learn. And that was exactly, and that happened the second day too with the hammer. And I think that just was my calling from God that this is where I should be.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. That's so different from what you do ordinarily
Yeah.
for a living.
Yeah, well, it's a total difference, but it keeps your body going, keeps you moving, and it's refreshing.
I love how God gives us those gentle nudges to let us know we're right where we're supposed to be.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I really do.
Oh, that's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
did they train? They will train people. So
Yeah.
if I decided maybe I could help with insulation, they would show me how to use a staple gun or
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of thing. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't go in having my own equipment. It's there.
The equipment is there,
Okay.
and the supplies are there, and they'll spend the time, and they have a certain amount of seasoned workers. They call core workers that have done different jobs, and they are designed as well to be. You help them, or you have to be their gopher for a little bit, but it all comes together, and it's a great opportunity to learn some skills as well as to help a family. And it's a very, very nice opportunity.
I am so excited
Yeah.
that it's taking place, shaping up right here in Orion Township.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the Homes for Autism, the home that you're building, partnering with them, that's in Auburn Hills. They're our neighbors,
Yeah.
and we want to see them prosper too.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
there really are no boundaries, and I'm glad for that.
Yeah, and it's a good organization. The nice thing, we're helping. Usually three people go into these houses for autism, and it's a group of people that would. There's a need for that very, very, very much, and it's a great opportunity for us.
Does Father Joe get involved too? Is
Father,
he out supervising?
he's worked the sites. He's worked the sites several times, and he's the father. He really did get us started in this in this position. He out of college when he was training, he did some autism or habitat work, and that further came about to show us the route.
That's when we decided we were going to build a home for Habitat before we built our new church.
I like that.
Yeah, it was really very instrumental that he came about that way, and he's been a great supporter. He helps out with our fundraiser. He's got one of the highest ticket items at the fundraiser, and
That's so nice. He's a wonderful man.
mhm.
Yeah, you see him involved. He used to have that little house behind the church on Baldwin, and he had the prettiest grounds.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful home. It was small, but he always took such good care of it, tender care of it.
Yeah, he's
He likes to
a
garden.
very creative person. Very, very,
Yes.
very creative, and we're very thankful to have him and be our leader.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to cover before we invite our next guest to come in and join us?
Well, I just want to reiterate that the fundraiser that we do on May 6th is really a great opportunity to put some support to the community for this project, and it's much needed to help of everybody.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, and I think everyone wants to come out. It's a great event, and if you're interested and you want to do outreach in the area, our church does a lot, so you're welcome to check us out or come by on the
Thank
weekend
you
for
so
Mass.
much.
Yeah.
When's service? When do you have your Mass?
We have Masses on Saturday at 5 and then on Sunday at 9 and 11.
That's exciting. You have a Saturday night service. I'm glad to know that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you
Yes.
might just see me there.
Okay, we'll look for you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I know people have learned a lot about Homes for Autism and Habitat for Humanity, and I'm hopeful that people will get involved in this. What a wonderful way to give back to our community.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Thank you for having us.
Indeed.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this program for the first 15 minutes. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll meet with Bill Schramm, who's going to talk a little bit more about Homes for Autism. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Bill Schramm. I'm a member of Christ the Redeemer Parish. We have been hosting a Habitat for Humanity party for 18 years. This year, the party, called Raise a Glass to Raise a Roof, is on Saturday, May 6th. The event is at the church grounds, Christ the Redeemer Church grounds, at 2700 Walden Road, between Baldwin and Joslin Roads in Orion Township. The party includes food and beverages. The food is supplied by neighborhood restaurants. Beverages such as beer and wine, pop, are also included for one price, $40 a ticket. The party has a live and silent auction as well as a 50-50 raffle. I'm also president of Homes for Autism. This year, the proceeds of the event are being donated to Habitat for the benefit of Homes for Autism. The proceeds will assist in the building of a new house in Auburn Hills under the direction of Habitat, with volunteers including those from Christ the Redeemer Parish. This house will be the 7th three-bedroom house that Home for Autism has in Southeast Michigan, where adults who have autism live under 24/7 care. Please join us for the party on May 6th. Tickets can be purchased at Christ the Redeemer Parish. You can call at 248-391-1621. Hope to see you at the Habitat fundraiser on May 6th at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Welcome back to the second part of the program. Joining us is Bill Schramm. He is president of Homes for Autism. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invite. I very much appreciate it. I've been a resident of Orion Township for 46 years. One of the founding members with Christ Redeemer when we split off from St. Joe's in Lake Orion, and been a member of the parish ever since. You had speaking previously from Mike Evola. Mike is a very modest fellow. Mike did not mention that he was nominated and voted as Volunteer of the Year for Habitat. Mike is extremely active in Habitat, and so he didn't want to mention it, but I want to make sure that people who see this show know that Mike is extraordinarily active. Mike and Karen, as a matter of fact, are really people who grease the skids for making this program go at Christ the Redeemer with the Habitat program. They have spreadsheets, they have people to contact, and so as a volunteer for that subcommittee, they have all of the information necessary to move along and to get up to speed for whatever the event is. And so my hat is off to both of them for their efforts.
I really enjoyed learning about Homes for Autism and Habitat for Humanity and the partnership that they have. You said that Mike is the Volunteer of the Year. I'm not surprised. He was very passionate about what he does.
Well, we have a couple of people in Christ Redeemer who are likewise very, very active in this program and are passionate about this. One of the longtime friends of mine is Jim Marlowe,
Yes.
who's a state senator. Jim is the fellow who does a lot of speaking at the.
He'll be the
he's the
master
MC.
of ceremonies.
He's the MC
Yes, yes.
at the program, Raise a Glass for Raise a Roof, and he's been doing that for a long time. Some 10 years or more, I invited Jim and his wife Thea to come to one of our annual dinners, and he showed up, and that was one of the things he had not heard very much about, namely autism. And he, from that point on, has been very, very active for autism in Lansing. The reason why we were able to get some grants from the Michigan State Housing Development Authority is because of Jim Marlowe's activity. Last year we honored the fellow by the name of Brian Mills, who has a child on the autism spectrum. He was one of our honorees at our dinner dance last November, and he pointed out very clearly that Jim Marlowe is the most outspoken person for autism
He is.
in Lansing.
Yes.
And I thought from a fellow who really gets a lot of his funding and backing from the state, to have him make that a comment for Jim, I thought was very, very helpful.
And Jim Marlowe was our former treasurer here at Orion Township.
Yes, that's correct.
And he was involved with autism at that point, but I know that was the beginning of some of the work he was able to accomplish when he got to Lansing, and it was a broader influence.
He's been very, very active in the
Yes.
community. One of the reasons why we have this house that's going to be built in Auburn Hills is because of Jim's activity with the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. We received a grant from them, and Brian Mills, when he was speaking at our dinner dance last November, he indicated that the reason why Home for Autism was able to obtain it was because of the fact that we were partnering with Habitat and of course with Christ the Redeemer. And so the key in terms of the substantial organization, MISHDA, is that we have a teeny tiny group, Home for Autism, partnering with other people. And it makes it easier for Mr. to explain how they have an effect on the community by letting them know they're dealing with both large groups and small groups. This is the second grant we're getting from Mr. for renovating or building a house. The first one 2 years ago, which we took possession of in Waterford, likewise was the result of fundraising activity at Christ the Redeemer and the Habitat fundraiser that they have. What I have tried to do in the two homes, because we're renovating them, and this year in particular building them, try to make the home ADA compatible. The people that live in our homes they're all poor, for openers, and extraordinarily disabled. We have one fellow who's in a house in Waterford, not the one that was built with the assistance of the MISTA grant, but the one that we purchased in 1999. Chris moved into that house in that time frame, so he's been there a long, long time. Well, it turns out that he's having some difficulty with the one step that we have inside the house. And so there's a possibility, at least we're giving consideration to perhaps Chris can be one of our residents in the new house that's being built in Auburn Hills, because there's ADA compatibility. There's no steps in the house. There are no steps leading into the house. There's only a ramp, and it's very easy for somebody to move around it.
How many people live in one of the
all
homes?
of our homes, this will be our 7th home. They're all 3-bedroom homes.
And they're all adults that live there?
Only adults live in the homes, and they're under 24/7 care. The individuals hire the caregivers. If they don't like the caregivers, you fire the caregiver, but they don't lose their house.
That means someone comes and helps them.
Somebody comes in, it's rotating shifts.
Prepare
and
meals and...
Absolutely. But the key is that the people stay there. As I say, we are a teeny tiny organization.
Yes.
We have one employee.
Having a huge impact.
We try to.
You do.
But it's one employee, and they're all everybody else is a volunteer. But you have to understand, autism reaches 1 in 68 people. Basically, there are more boys that get autism than girls. 2% of all boys that are born today will have an autism issue. That doesn't mean they will live in our homes, but they will have an autism issue. And so the doctors are able to diagnose autism a little bit earlier than had been in the past, and there's much more attention being given to it. The law was changed a couple of years ago, so now that you can get some insurance benefits for those who have autism, so that you can get the diagnosis and you can get some assistance for bringing your child along.
What sparked your interest in Homes for Autism?
Well, my son, who will be 50 this year, was diagnosed with autism when he was in his 20s. My son Bill does not live in a home. I want to make that abundantly clear. He
Sure.
does not live in one of the homes. He lives in a condo in White Lake. And he has a lot of positive things that he can do, but he has some difficulties, let's put it that way. But the people who live in our homes, as I say, are extraordinarily disabled.
Yes.
And so I learned early on that this is a marathon. A lot of people, if you get ill, you take an antibiotic and a week later you're on your way. Autism is not like that. It's a marathon, and you are in for it for the long haul, and you have to address these things as time progresses. We see lots of issues with people as they get gray hair. You get older, and the kids are bigger than you. You can't handle them, and so it creates some serious issues. It's a serious issue for society. Where do the kids go? Many of the schools throughout the country have programs for autism. In Michigan, the school system will be of assistance until you turn 26. There are a lot of benefits that you get when you turn in that time period. However, when you turn 26,
Services
then what?
end.
Then what? It's a major issue for society. It's a major issue for mom and dad.
I have a dear friend that adopted 2 children with special needs, and as they've grown older, there has been challenges. I'm thankful to hear that there are resources available for people.
It has changed in the last few years. I have 3 children. All of them are adopted. The only one who's not adopted in the house is me. Judy was adopted as well.
Hey, how long have you been married?
Let's see, hold on. 1964, so that
Oh,
makes
beautiful.
it 53 years this year.
And you have spent 46 years of your marriage here in Orion Township.
And we still have our New York accents, yes.
Yes, you do. Indeed. So you'll be at this fundraiser that Christ the Redeemer is hosting, and I know you're so welcoming and you want people to come. What would you tell them, some of the couple of things that you want to tell them about that fundraiser?
You cannot possibly
Highlights.
get a food that's available from all
Yes.
the local restaurants, $40 ticket per person, all the food you can eat, practically all the beverages we would like to have. It's beer, wine, and pop. There's also water if you want it, but nonetheless, for $40, it's a tough.
And such a
ticket
great
you could do.
cause.
Well, it's in conjunction with Habitat. I think Habitat and Christ Redeemer have really been linked for a long, long time, and it's because of Father Joe. The concept of build a house before you build your own church, I thought was phenomenal. So we, Home for Autism, have just been fortunate enough to be able
Yes.
to fit in.
Yeah. Boy, that's a great concept. And God has blessed that tremendously.
Well, Habitat says the same thing because it's not just our charitable or nonprofit group, Home for Autism. They have found that they can do the same with a lot of other nonprofits. It is really a good benefit for Habitat to partner up with other nonprofits, and it furthers their programs as well as the others for going forward.
Well, I so appreciate you coming to meet with us today. We've learned a lot about Habitat for Humanity and the partnership that they have with Homes for Autism, and I'm hopeful people will get excited and volunteer and come to the fundraiser as well.
Thank you. Thank you
so
very much. Enjoy it.
I hope you enjoyed this edition of Oakland Leadership. We had some amazing guests here today who put their heart out there for the community, and they work hard to be sure that people can be in a home. We thank you for joining us today. If you need more information, visit the websites. If you want to volunteer, they'd love to have you. Thanks again.